Adam, dude, week 2 is in the books, and what we thought was going to be really that much of a exciting week 2 kind of had some exciting things happen.
That it did.
Definitely more exciting than I thought it would be. We had some teams kind of underperformed against some teams. Some teams did great. But we'll just get right into it, man. Let's start with just Tennessee ETSU. You know, kind of what I feel like it was kind of what we thought it was going to be. We did predict a little bit under on the score. I think we said what 50 something, 60 something. Man, they beat them 72 to 17. Um, it was a record, I believe, for Tennessee and for points wise.
Yep.
Um, we did. I hate to be critical because it was a game. It was 72-17. We did what we're supposed to do. That's all I can really ask for, man. If I had to be critical on something, I would say like there was a few times with the penalties. I know we text back and forth about that a little bit. A couple little things. Obviously, there was the bad snap, that they lost the ball on. Could have been huge in the game. I think we had a touchdown there was a penalty involved, prevented a touchdown there. Stuff that we don't want to have this weekend, coming into bigger games. But overall, man, I mean, Aguilar, he threw for 2 touchdowns. Star Thomas, man, had 3 rushing touchdowns. Um, it just the whole time, and again, this is no disrespect to ETSU, but you could just tell it was the talent wise just doesn't match up. And Tennessee was their offense is explosive, man, and they just kind of could put whatever score they wanted to. I feel like
Yep.
during that game, but it was cool to get to see a couple of the other quarterbacks. Play during that and get to see some of the other younger guys and some of the freshmen get in there and everybody got to play a little bit and that's what you want to see and as far as I know I don't believe there was any major injuries or anything like that, so
No.
either side it didn't look like ETSU had anything major, and that's what you want to see, just a clean game. And um, I was happy with it. What do you think about that game? What any takes that you have from it?
Yeah, basically Tennessee went in there and they did what they were supposed to do. In a couple years ago, maybe even last year, you kind of question whether or not they're going to handle business. Even against some lower ranked teams last year, we went scoreless in the first quarter or first half, I think. So, I mean, or didn't put up very many points at all against those kind of lower level schools. So it's good to see Tennessee kind of do what they're supposed to do what they're expected to do what a
Yeah.
Power Five school should do against a school like ETSU. Yeah, touching on the penalties, still 6 penalties for 45 yards. Kind of, it didn't feel as bad because the score was as big as it was and we were winning by as much, but
Yeah.
again, with these penalties, you do this against Georgia next week. Things like that could hurt you. With the touchdown that got called back because of a holding call, that was in the first quarter. Actually, that was the first drive of the game. One thing that I really liked was Joey Aguilar's play. Of course, he looked poised. He looked good. 23 for 31 with 288 through the air and 2 touchdowns. Again, another week of no interceptions. He did have what was it, the snap or whatever with the fumble.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, whatever with that, but 0 interceptions. You can tell that he's getting even more comfortable with the playbook and things of that nature. Like you said, man, it was cool to see a bunch of young guys that usually don't get an opportunity to play. It was cool to see those guys get in there. And again, like you said, no injuries, man. That's something
Yeah.
big that you wanted to happen in a game like this. Something notable, and it was kind of odd for it to go down the way it did. But David Sanders Jr., the 5-star tackle that was supposed to make his return from not playing last week, playing this week, he still didn't play. So the offensive line looked pretty good without him both weeks. I don't think it's been necessary to have him. And I
Yeah.
don't know, and really, dude, to be honest with you, I don't know if it's a good idea to throw him in there against Georgia next week as the starter. I say leave everything as is and just rotate him in. I think that would probably
Yeah.
be the best thing to do.
Yeah, for sure, man. One thing I would touch on too, speaking of people like injuries and people come back, I hope McCoy's back. And I touch on
Yeah.
it because of this game. There were some moments the secondary still showed some weakness, some things they lucked out on. I know there was a 40-yard play that ETSU had a penalty on. And that was a big, which, things are going to happen. I know it kind of caught them off guard there, but overall they did well, but it is things that could worry you against bigger opponents. And to touch on, like you said, like to handle it like you're supposed to, I hate when like you see a post and it's like Tennessee just sharing that they broke their school record for points wise, or took care of business 72-17 things. I think SEC posted it on one of their social media things, and people get in the comments and like, who'd they play? Oh, it's just well, yeah. The point is, we did what we're supposed to do. Your team has one of those games too, you know what I mean? And they might have even struggled with their team, just like Georgia did against Austin Peay. So, I
Yeah.
mean, you know what I mean? So at least we handled business and do what we're supposed to do on that. So I hate when people always say, "Oh, it's just against this team," when everybody has that game. So, and you're gonna and they act like they're not gonna post the score. They post the score every week. You know what I mean? It's just going to post it on there. So I just wanted to touch on that. I just see that
Nah,
all the time, and I'm like, you know what I mean?
I agree, man. If looking at everyone that played, because a lot of players got in this game. I'm looking at some of the stuff over here. 13 different players caught a pass in this game. I mean, that's a lot
Yeah,
of wide receivers and tight ends. Of course, like you said, Star Thomas had 3 touchdowns. You had a long list of running backs that got in the game as well and got some yardage. Other than, maybe obviously Joey Aguilar and Star Thomas getting the 3 touchdowns. What about Chris Brazzell, man? 9 receptions,
yeah,
125 yards, 2 touchdowns. I think he's finally coming into his own this year, and he's going to be the guy that we thought he
yeah.
should have been last year, man. I'm so excited to see that guy continue to play good.
And then Matthews to mix with him, man.
Yes, man.
He was kind of coming in there too. So I think those two together, if they can get settled in, and like we could have two top-notch receivers right there to throw to, man.
Hmm. Yep. But I agree with you though on the defensive side of things. I mean, obviously ETSU didn't have the ability to expose our defense for what it is, but there were glimpses of things that you were like, oh man, against a good team, it might not
Yeah,
have ended up that way. So I pray
yeah.
we tighten some things up defensively, and like you said, get some of those injuries back on the field.
And I thought I was being too critical until I heard Heupel at halftime when she asked about he was not happy at
Yeah,
halftime. I mean, it was like 48 to what, 7 at that point,
yeah, yeah.
and he
Well,
was
I
not
mean,
happy.
he's looking at it from the perspective that we're trying to look at it from. It's like
Yeah,
you're not really looking at what you're doing against this team. You're looking at what you're not doing against this team that could basically
exactly.
be highlighted and surface against a big time team.
Exactly. Stuff that you
He
couldn't just bounce back from.
Right, and you can't tell me that every single person on that team knew what was, they knew what's coming next week. They had that in the back of their minds the whole time, all
Oh
week,
yeah.
I guarantee. And I would go as far as to say that they probably did a little Georgia preparation this week as well. I would about guarantee that.
Oh, I would say you're right, man. And um yeah, I mean and I'm just glad that because of that they did still show up and start, they didn't look sluggish. They come right out of the gate. Ben Boo Carter, dude, he's an
Oh,
athlete, man, on them punt returns.
oh my gosh, man.
I mean, I
He
don't care who you're
is,
playing, dude, to be able to cut like he does, and he's dangerous with the ball.
yes. He is dangerous with the ball. He I don't care what anyone says, he deserves to be on the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah.
There's no reason why you can't put that man at one of the slot positions.
It doesn't have to play every play, just like, so many, and it doesn't have to even go to, enough to where like, oh, if he goes in, it's going to him. You don't want teams to like key in on that, but even if he's not, playing the whole game both
Hmm.
ways, if he can just go in there some on a series, man, and
You
just
can't tell
he's
me that
dangerous.
you can't tell me that a little screen pass in the open field to him would not just be electrifying, man.
Yeah. Could easily turn into 20 plus yards. Yeah.
Easily, easily. But yeah, shout out to Boo Carter. He looked amazing. If it wasn't for him kind of running out of bounds there on that one punt return, he'd have scored. I mean, easily.
Oh yeah.
He basically did score. He just he got wedged a little bit
Yeah.
on some blocking and stuff, and kind of had no
How
choice
do
but to run out of bounds.
Had he not, that would have been so nasty because he jumped over the dude too for it. That'd
Yes,
have been
man.
sick.
It's like,
So,
dude, when he gets the ball in his hands, it's like you can tell by watching him. He's instantly just like
oh yeah.
scanning everything. He's instantly making moves. He looks
He
good.
started out
He looks good.
walking on that one punt. He was like waiting for his blocks and then like
Yep.
took off.
And that's a sign of a great runner. I mean, even though he's not a
Yeah.
running back, that's the sign of a
Yeah.
great that's what good running backs do. They start off slow,
Yeah.
wait for their blocks to
Then
progress,
take
and then
off.
go.
Yes. I mean, definitely happy with it overall, man. I mean, like I said, we were part of the 70-point club. There's a few of those on Saturday. You know what? You had like Bama and Florida State, I think, that hit it.
Yep.
Um, and Florida State, not to get into that rabbit hole, but that might be a team to look out for this year.
100%,
Um,
dude.
for
100%.
sure.
They look good.
Yeah, they did.
I don't think
Kind of.
it's not a fluke at all that what they're doing is not a fluke.
I don't think so, man. I think you're right. Um, Getting into a little bit of recap there on the game of the week we had.
Yep.
So Oklahoma did beat Michigan.
Yep.
Um, so SEC finally got Big Ten there a little bit this year.
Yeah.
They beat them 24-13. I did look at the stats there, just kind of comparing the quarterbacks. Is it John Mateer? Is that how you say his last name, or am I mispronouncing that?
No, you're
Um,
right. He's a problem.
yeah, he's. I mean, in this game, dude, he went 21 for 34. He had 270 yards through the air. He had one pass touchdown, but then he also had two rush touchdowns with 74 yards rushing. He
Yes.
did have one interception that he threw, but other than that, man, he's a baller, man.
Yep.
I think Oklahoma is going to be a good team. I know we kind of talked about, which is later down the road, but that kind of worries you a little bit down the road having to play them, you know. But
A little bit.
and I don't know how good Michigan is, you know, realistically. I know they're ranked, but we don't know like how good they are. I do know that Bryce Underwood for him is supposed to be good, and I feel like he will. 'Cause he had a good week one, but he did struggle. He was 9 for 24 and only 142 yards in this game. So got to give that defense some credit for Oklahoma getting after him and everything. And apparently they weren't. I did see some Michigan fans complaining about like them not letting him pass enough, but I don't know. He was 9 for 24.
Yep. Yeah, that's true. Whenever I was watching the game, man, it looked like, and this could just be his age showing and his lack of experience showing, but it did
Yeah,
look like anytime that there was pressure, he wasn't comfortable when there was pressure on
yeah,
him. Once he got when he felt a little bit of pressure, he instantly kind of started scrambling around. So that might be
yeah.
something that he probably needs to work on. The game was a good game. I didn't like glue my eyeballs to the screen and watch every single play, every single minute. But it was a tight game. It looked like it was a hard fought game, and I do
Was.
just watching the game. I feel like you could tell from start to finish, and I'm not just saying this because they won, but I thought you could tell from start to finish that Oklahoma was the better team. I'll just say that.
Yeah, no, for sure. I don't think there was much question in that.
Yeah.
By the way it played out, and as you were watching it, I think you're right on that. But yeah, ended up being a good game, man. I mean, there were several good games, really. I mean, I know we ain't got time to talk about all these today, but it surprised me for a week too that that didn't seem like it was going to have the matchups. Like I said, some of the teams, like, I felt like Georgia, LSU, some of them they struggle. Clemson, man, they struggle with some of those smaller schools, and I've noticed that tends to happen every year. There's always
Hmm.
either a week or so and I don't know if teams are just looking on to the next week or especially before big games, things like that. Because we got a lot of big games coming up, so and that might be something too. Um,
Yeah.
but speaking, or
Speak.
go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Speaking of teams struggling against the smaller schools, with LSU, man, after week one, them beating Clemson and all that good stuff, we talked about, oh my, LSU's back. They're going to be dominant. A lot of people had them ranked number one in the SEC. They shot up the AP poll last week. They played Louisiana Tech, man, and they only scored 23 points on them, dude.
Yeah,
It was like 23-7 or something like that. And I got to looking at it, and I was like, man, that's kind of interesting. Louisiana Tech had 12 penalties for 130 yards. Okay.
yeah,
And this is just hypothetical, Who cares? It didn't happen. But what happens if Louisiana Tech cuts those penalties in half, plays a little bit more disciplined?
Yeah,
You don't think that cutting 130 yards worth of penalties in half probably has some other scores in there? I mean, dude, I know it's all hypothetical, but I just thought it was interesting to approach it from that point of view. I mean, LSU, I didn't watch the game, but the scoreboard doesn't lie, and that goes to show me that they must have struggled. Something was going on. They did not look
yeah,
good apparently. So
yeah. No, you're right, man. And again, and when I think of like those games, I try to sometimes not read too much into them always, but like it has to show you something, you know what I mean? And they definitely didn't do what they were supposed to do.
right.
Um, and speaking of teams that didn't do what they're supposed to do, I think we just got to get into our upset alert. Um, and what an upset, man! And I couldn't be happier.
Man.
My new favorite team in Florida, not that I even had one until now, South Florida goes to
Yep.
Gainesville in the swamp, beats Florida 18-16, man.
Mm,
Crazy. And I tell you, I thought Florida had it when they scored and they went up 16-15, and
yep.
then South Florida got the ball, then they were, didn't do anything with it, and I was like, all right, Florida,
Yep.
Florida's gonna escape this one. But then, man, Florida gave it back to them, and and the penalties too, though. I will say that saw someone. I mean, like the guy that when he spit in the guy's face and got ejected, and man,
Yep.
you're in a situation where you got a team way back in their territory. They've got a long ways to go, and you just gave them 15 yards,
Yep.
and it didn't take any time off the clock, and you're out of the game. I mean, it's just being smart, man. It wasn't to the level of importance over. I mean, I don't know. I think it was still very important because this game, Florida's got such a tough schedule after. For them to lose this game is really rough on them. But in such a pivotal moment of the game right there when that happened, it almost reminds me back like a few years ago when Florida was trying to make the playoffs and that one player threw that shoe. Um, I don't
Yeah.
know if you remember that, and ultimately lost them that game. Like,
Yep.
not that they lost it right there. Like, South Florida could have still drove down the field, but you just handed them 15 yards when they were deep in their territory. Um, just one of those dumb penalties, man. If that had been Tennessee, I know I'd have been fired up. Um, like how you doing that in that situation. But what do you think about that Florida going down, man, to
Yeah.
South Florida?
So, like I do every Saturday, I'm flipping back and forth between games. On YouTube TV, I might even have like the split screen where I've got two games, or I might
Yeah.
have the four screen split with four different games going on. But I found myself watching this game more than any of the other games. Just because watching it was just such a tight game the whole way, and I was like,
Yeah, it's a
this is
good game.
interesting.
Yeah.
And with all the hype behind DJ Lagway and all that good stuff, I wanted to watch the guy. So found myself watching this game, and this game, and especially the way it ended, is a prime example of why Billy Napier has been on the hot seat for 2 years now. 2 years this man has been on the hot seat, and he saved his job last season. At the end of the season, he saved his job. He beat some teams that they probably shouldn't have beat, but they beat them. They beat Ole Miss. They beat LSU, and they were just on fire last year at the end of the season. But this game right here, and especially that final drive, is just a prime example of why Billy Napier is on the hot seat, and he should be. There is no reason whatsoever why the Gators should have lost this game. It was a close game, don't get me wrong. Shout out to South Florida. They did what they were supposed to do, what no one thought they were going to do. You know,
They might be
uh,
better than what we all thought. You know.
yeah, yeah, you're right, you're right. But I do know one thing, and it's a fact. The University of Florida paid South Florida to come up, paid them $500,000 to come up and beat them. So,
Uh,
but yeah, I think it was the final drive. I
I
think it,
love it.
I think it was the final drive, dude, and I feel like I feel like it could have easily been sealed away if you'd have ran the ball. But what does Billy do?
Yep.
Billy Napier calls pass plays when you don't really
Yeah.
have to pass the ball, man, you know? But again, shout out to South Florida. For all of you all watching that don't know this, the head football coach down there, Alex Golish, the offensive coordinator for Tennessee back in 2022 when we had that crazy season. He's doing a heck of a job down there, and it speaks volumes. I hope that what he was able to do with South Florida in the swamp, we are able to do when we go down there later this year.
Yeah.
Um, because I mean, I think that's, aside from them beating Florida, the fact that they did it in the swamp is what blows my mind. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
think that's yeah, they beat them and that's crazy, but just to add to it, hey, they did it in the swamp. And that
Yeah.
just makes it even crazier. What a game. What a game, man.
It's wild, man. And I don't know that he's escaping the hot seat this year. That
There's no
schedule's
way.
tough. Schedule's tough, man. I don't know that he's coming out of that one.
The first 2 weeks of the first 2 weeks of the season were the easy part of the schedule. So they come out of the easy part of their schedule 1-1. Man, I don't have it pulled up in front of me, but the rest of their schedule is an absolute gauntlet, man. It is brutal.
They could easily be a 6-6 team this year, man. It depending on how it
If
rolls,
not
but
worse.
it's if not worse. I'm going like winning a couple of those like hard
Right.
games. Like they've legitimately with one loss already, they have at least six other teams that are very difficult on their schedule. So
And
be interesting to see for sure.
yeah, I'll say this and then we can move on or whatever, but as much hype and stuff that has been behind DJ Lagway from last season and in the off season and going into this season, this game, he didn't show it, man. I
Yeah,
didn't see it. If you're mentioned in the Heisman runnings preseason and you're supposed to be this savior of Florida and all this stuff,
yeah.
you don't perform the way he performed in a game like this.
Yeah, I might have to just start calling him Anthony Richardson 2.0. Uh, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
Hey, it might still get you drafted in the first round, even though I knew that was a mistake.
Kid, the kid could be battling injury too. I mean, he was injured there at the end of
Okay.
last year. I think
Yeah,
he spent most of the offseason injured or trying to recover from an injury. He still could be
yeah,
hurt. I don't know.
that's
We
true.
need
The
some. We
Richardson
need a
had,
Florida fan to. We need a fan to clarify all this for
yeah,
us.
yeah, give us some insight because I don't spend too much time worrying about them.
No, if you're a Florida fan and you're watching this, comment down below.
Yeah,
Tell
is he
us, do
still
you
is he
think,
hurt?
yeah, is DJ Lagway hurt? Do you think
Yeah.
they should fire Billy Napier, or do you think he should have been fired last year?
Also, I mean, is he physically hurt? Not his pride. I know they're all hurt, but
Right. Yeah.
Gator Nation's hurt. But is he physically hurt?
Dude, the one of the funniest things about that game, up in the stands, the camera kept panning to Florida. I mean, they were in Florida, so obviously they're
Yeah,
everywhere. But it would like zoom in on certain people, dude, and they'd just be like, and then it'd pan to like it'd
so
pan
good,
to a
dude.
sea of yeah, it'd pan to a sea of Gator fans, and then there'd be like two South Florida fans sitting in the middle of them high five and cheering.
So I love when they do that with the fans, man. And nothing might. I don't think anything's gonna beat that Bama fan giving the bird
Oh,
this
dude,
year.
that
But
was
that
crazy.
was crazy, man. But yeah, um, upset
Yep.
alert. I'm sure we're gonna have more of them as the year goes. So keep an eye out for those. They're gonna be out there. Hopefully we ain't gotta throw us on there at any point in time. But
I hope not. I hope not.
yeah, upset alert. It's out there. So. Kind of going to end this little episode off with something kind of fun, a little fourth and whatever topic. We got the whatever topic that we've not done here in a little while, man.
Yep.
So now that football's in full swing, it's kind of hard to make time for these, but just kind of wanted to throw this out there. The Powerball lottery, man. Everybody knows about which it was just won this weekend. Unfortunately, I did not win it. I still had to go to
Me either.
work. I still had to go to work today, so. But the question is for you, if you had won that $1.8 billion Powerball lottery, man, what would you do in a roundabout,
Yeah.
idea of what
Yeah.
you would do?
In a roundabout way. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and put aside like all like the lawyer stuff and all that stuff because those are
Yeah,
things
yeah.
you're probably gonna have to do once you
You
get that
got you
amount of
got to.
money.
Yeah.
So aside from all that, once all my
The
legal
the
stuff and all
fun
that
stuff.
banking, yeah, yeah, yeah. Once all the legal stuff and banking stuff and all that stuff's behind me and I've got it squared away. First thing I'm doing, man, is obviously, I've got family members, I've got my mom, my dad, sister, etc. You know, I'm gonna set aside a chunk for them, individually. Here you go, here you go, here you go. Get them squared away. That's first and foremost. Secondly, obviously, we're talking changing phone numbers and all that good stuff, Definitely got to do that. But probably, obviously quitting the job instantly, without a doubt. Probably not even going to
Not,
put a 2 weeks notice in. If
yeah, not even a
anybody from,
thought.
yeah, I think that just goes without saying. You're always, me and you've talked about this. You're always going to have that one guy's like, I'd probably still come to work. Not me.
No.
They can kiss me goodbye. Obvious, and I think a lot of people would probably answer this the same way. Definitely looking for a huge plot of land, build the dream home, of course. I would probably have a garage that is just as big as the dream home. I'm talking probably 5, 10 car garage, something crazy.
Jay Leno.
Because yeah, we are talking about 1.8 billion, not million, billion.
Billions.
So
Yeah.
when it's all said and done, you've probably got what we think 800, 700 million.
700, 800 million.
Yeah,
Bro, you
you're going to
could
give your
use a
family.
100 million for just blowing it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So by the time you buy your land, build your dream home, build the garage. I mean, I'm talking. I'm going to be buying Ferraris, Hellcats, Jeeps,
Yeah.
trucks, you name it. And then obviously probably going to be investing a lot of it in stocks and whatever. Obviously hiring a financial person, doing all that good stuff. And then the biggest thing that I would do to it is I would try to figure out a couple businesses that I could actually like hands on, like, whatever type of businesses, like, services to offer, that type of
Yeah.
business. And just invest my money into that stuff that is going to make money. Hire a crew of
Yeah.
people, have them work for me, sit back, watch the money come in.
Yeah.
We're talking vacations out the yin yang. You know what I'm saying, dude?
Oh yeah, bro.
It would just be incredible. But yeah, the cars and the house and the garage, making sure my daughter has money tucked away for college, all that good stuff.
Oh yeah.
It would be it's something fun to fantasize about, that's for sure. And I'm sure your answers are going to be similar, but
Yeah, bro. No,
that
no, it definitely is something to think about. Yeah, man. Obviously, just starting the same, the family. You got some people that you're gonna take care of. Skipping all the lawyer stuff and all that things that you have to do. Changing your number or whatever and things like that. But dude, first, me and my wife probably gonna travel for like a year. I'm not even gonna like before I do my. I got business ideas, things that I want to do just as accomplishments in life, but also things that could be residual income, like hands off things that's going to continue to bring income to me, but be something I created. That stuff's all going to come. I would have things like that I would do, but the first like year, man, I would just instantly quit. Would not be working a job that told me I had to clock in at any time, man. I'm my own boss for the rest of my life at that point. So,
there you go.
I'm I would go travel for a year or so. However long we wanted to do that just to see. We would do more vacations obviously in the future too. It wouldn't just be a year of it, but just a year of just like really seeing the world, man. A lot of things to see. Then after like that and relaxation and like just away from all of it and the fun, I would build me a lake house in East Tennessee, man. And then I would buy
Beautiful.
me a beach house in the Gulf, man, in Florida. I would so I'd have me a place where I'd be at either one, man. I'd be back and forth because you wouldn't have that restriction of like you've got to be at a job Monday morning. You could go and that kind of freedom and like obviously being your own boss in that way, is
Yep.
what I'd want to do. Um, I would and donations, man, the things that I thought was good for good causes. I would uh, and me as a religious person, like a church or something that I felt like was doing really good things in my church and everything. I'd want to, donate to. And then the cars, man, I've got some cars in mind of what I would be
Oh
keeping in
yeah.
that garage as well. So you're gonna treat yourself some, man. I mean, that's so much money, people,
Yep, you got to.
not the nice houses, the nice cars, um, and yeah, man, and live life with a time and financial freedom. That's what I would do there, on
Yep.
that, and just to enjoy it, man. There's so many places to see, so a lot of traveling. But I think it kind of roundabout sums it up, you know.
Yeah, yeah. And I think something that you and I would both do is obviously build a studio for the podcast, man.
Yeah,
That kind of
that
came
would
to my
be,
mind just now.
yeah,
Yeah,
for sure,
build
dude.
a studio for the podcast. Have a situation where we're not doing this thing split screen anymore, man.
Yeah,
We're
a
coming
legit.
together, sitting in a studio. That'd be awesome.
Oh
Hire a
yeah,
couple dudes to edit the episodes, engineer the whole thing. So,
be the
yep, that's fun.
best man cave studio you can think of there.
Yep,
Legit.
that's fun, man.
Oh, it's just fun to think about. It's crazy someone won that. It's
Yep,
crazy.
insane, insane.
Well, this has been a fun one, man. I mean, like I said, week two, I didn't expect what I got out of it. I've got to watch some good games, and it really hit me into that football mode. Like we were in full blown football season, man. NFL started, and
Yep,
and it was like, golly, I watched so much football this weekend, and I'm just super pumped it's here. And man, we got some stuff to look forward to as well. So
yep. I
happy
know
we're
it.
2-0, man.
Yeah, I know it just started, man. But the first 2 weeks of college football season went by pretty quick, man. I think.
It's crazy.
I know we have a whole season ahead of us, but man, golly, dude, 2 weeks are already we're already 2 weeks into this thing, going into the third week.
Goes
But
quick, man.
it sure does. One thing we haven't done yet in this episode, if you're watching and you're still here with us, take the time to
Yeah,
subscribe to the channel. Like the video, comment, share. Tell us how
sure.
you thought week two went, what your favorite game was of the week. We appreciate all that stuff.
Absolutely. Appreciate you all the comments, everything too. We enjoy the engagement on that, and we try to comment back, make sure we're watching that as well. So do appreciate everything. But Adam, unless you got anything, man, I think that about wraps it up for me on week two, man. Let's
Yep.
recap.
Good week, and looking forward to the next one.
Absolutely, man. It's been fun as always. I'll see you, dude.
Yep. Take care, brother.